happy Monday, our favorite day of the week. It's the Plug Talk Sports live show, episode number 82. We're back. We had a little bit of an issue last week, a little technical difficulties. I was at work. I was hard at work on a 15-hour day. Brandon was ready to go, and then Janka had some sort of freak power outage happening.
I don't know.
It was like I felt like we were back in our original country of origin, where they turn off the lights every hour. So we're back. You know us, Danny Torres, Jonka Don't Stop, and of course Brandon, Mr. Guaranteed himself. Guys, what's going on in the week so far? How's your week looking?
So far this week, man, I mean, busy schedule, a lot of NBA stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Also got a lot of school things wrapping up, getting close to spring break, though, so that's the good part about all of it. But also getting these going back and forth reporting. So busy week, but getting close to the finish line, hopefully. Hopefully, though.
Yeah.
You're close. You're getting there. Jonka, how about you?
Same old. I don't have class on Thursday, but I do Wednesday. So after Wednesday, I will not have class for the rest of after Wednesday. I won't have class. Then spring break, and then I'll start again. But I'm gonna have a long hiatus from schoolwork, so I'm gonna be pretty good.
Let's get into plug and shameless plugs of the week. Let's start with bad news. Brandon, worst thing from the past week.
Worst thing from the past week.
That's a tough one.
That is a very tough one. I would probably say my sleep schedule, most likely, because I was on like a New York trip for like about a week, and like from doing the trip itself,
It's tiring.
Yeah, it's exhausting. It's an exhausting trip. I'm still doing work during the trip, and I jump right back here in where I'm at in Northern Florida, doing that plus the other jobs I do. I mean, the sleep schedule still hasn't been fixed at all, at all. So, the constant grind, probably still trying to get used to it, trying to get back on my feet still. So that's probably the worst part about it.
Jonka?
It's gonna have to be the Turkey and Syria earthquake.
Oh yeah.
I think the death toll is already over 50,000.
If you guys didn't know, they had another one today.
Yeah.
Another earthquake today.
Man, it sucks. And they're saying it might be over 75,000. So this is really bad.
That's really crazy, man. Mine's gonna have to be similar as Brandon. I think sleep schedule. I don't know what it is, man, but I struggle to. I just, even if I get to bed early, I just can't fall asleep early, man. I'm gonna be laying there, and I just can't fall asleep early. Been up since 6 a.m. today. Had a practice from 8 a.m. till 5 o'clock with my broadcast students, and then after that went to soccer, played soccer for an hour and 30 minutes, and I did all of that running on 5 hours of sleep.
It's tough, man. And not even that. I think the crazy thing about it, because I also do have some of those days where it's like all day. The moment you hit your bed, that's like the only free time you really got.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So I'll be on my phone all the time. I don't know about you, but I mean, I'll just be like just laying there because this is the only time I can really like rest. Not sleep rest, but rest.
Hey, man, I don't know about you guys, but do you ever get that moment like randomly in the afternoon where you start thinking to yourself, man, I can't wait till I get home. I have some food, I get a shower, and I just get to sleep, lay in bed.
Every single time, man. Every single time. Kid you not.
Brandon, back to you. Best thing from the week.
We'll go into it later on the podcast, but it's got to be the back and forth Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum of the All-Star game. Like, it wasn't like the best All-Star, and again, we'll go into it later on, but that had to be the best moment. As a Celtic fan, it was the Celtics and nobody else. Just everyone watching, JB, JT, back and forth. I'll go more into that, but definitely the best thing I see.
Jonka?
besides my birthday being this past weekend.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There you go.
I'll have to shout out to Canes Hoops or Hurricanes men's basketball for being ranked 13th in the country, beating Wake Forest on Saturday, and Canes baseball for shout out to CJ Kafus for hitting the walk-off home run, two home run to win it 3-2 against Penn State and win the series. So shout out to him.
There we go.
Okay. For me, it's probably have to go back to Saturday on Jonka's birthday. I took him to a Brazilian restaurant down
Ooh.
by the water around the Midtown area. And at this time of month, the Brazilians celebrate what they call Carnival. And let's just say Jonka had a nice time. Jonka had a really nice time. We had some Brazilian steak with French fries. There was some empanadas involved, and there was Brazilian carnival dancers, and which was again there is photos. We will not release the photo. They're not bad photos, but we will not release the photos. I posted one of them on my social media, but yeah, Jonka had a good time.
That's good though. You gotta let loose in Miami, the town of South Beach, all sports and more. So you gotta let loose in South Beach. Man.
Oh, for sure. As Stephen A. says, the mayor of South Beach. So talking about Stephen A. and mayor of South Beach and basketball and stuff like that, that leads to our first segment of the night, and it is Kevin Love has signed with the Miami Heat. It was breaking news yesterday, early afternoon. Cody Zeller as well will be joining the Miami Heat. We'll start with Brandon first. What do you think about this move for the Heat?
I think for Pat Riley, it's really kind of the move that he was more or less waiting on. Because when you look at the pieces during the trade deadlines, it's a team, as I mentioned before, prior to this season, to go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't want to mess around with the chemistry. This is just adding pieces. They didn't really lose anything, really. And a lot of people really did think that Kyle Lowry was going to be shipped out for potentially a package of maybe a role player and some picks or what have you. But the way they ended up getting out with this one, they figured out a way without getting rid of a single player to add on two guys. Most likely, you're going to see Kevin Love starting off and probably give Martin a rest from playing the 4 position, which is I think every single person that watches Heat basketball knows that Caleb Martin should not be playing the 4 position right next to Bam Adebayo down there. The guy's like 6'6", Bam's towering at like 6'10". Now you got a real forward right there and a veteran at that who is championship build with Kevin Love. So I think the move is actually great for the Miami Heat. Kevin Love, obviously, you're not going to get that superstar talent that we've seen in years past anymore. I think one of the biggest things that I really take away from this move, it kind of recalls of when the United States in the Olympics for basically 2020, Tokyo was actually 2021 because of the pandemic. But either way, when they went to Tokyo, Kevin Love originally on that roster, 3 exhibition games prior, he barely is even able to run up and down the court with the all-star cast of the USA team. Ends up not even making the trip. So now in Miami, the real question is, can Kevin Love stick with the pace of this Miami Heat team? And then, of course, how will he fit there? Is he being a shot-up shooter, like off-ball screens? So maybe Eric Spoelstra might have to switch up. Obviously not going to, change the entire season's offense midway. But you might see some new things on the perimeter game with Kevin Love a part of it. And also Cody Zeller. I have to say, random. I didn't even realize he was still in the NBA, to be honest with you. I know Cody Zeller, and I think there was another Zeller brother, wherever he's at. But Cody Zeller as well, now coming off the bench. I mean, instead of having Udonis Haslem starting games now, who knows? Bam Adebayo has some injury problems. Probably not. Hopefully not later on down the season. But now you have something reliable with Cody Zeller as well as Kevin Love going back and forth in the front court for Miami.
Jonka, your thoughts on Kevin Love?
Yeah, like Brandon said, he brings veteran leadership to the squad, which they had with PJ Tucker, but he's long gone. For Cody Zeller, it helps Adebayo down there with the size. But like overall, I think they can help with the shooting because right now I feel like what Miami's missing is I guess I don't know how to say consistent shooting
Mhm.
because what's lacking right now is Duncan Robinson. He's just a sitting duck. I don't know what happened to him. So we have to expect Kevin Love to I guess produce what Duncan isn't producing. If that makes sense.
No, yeah. I mean, and not even that. From not only Duncan, you also have, Kyle Lowry. When he first came to the Miami, a lot of people said that offensively he would like open up the floor and end up shooting a lot of threes. We haven't seen a lot of that either. So besides Tyler Hero, who was in the 3-point contest for good reason, one of the best shooters on Miami Heat's roster,
which was bad.
which is, yes, unfortunately bad, especially his performance in that first round. But either way, though, I mean, the Miami Heat with Kevin Love, as I mentioned before, they could kind of change some things and be more open to perimeter basketball. Because I know a lot of it's just Jimmy Butler, of course, using Bam Adebayo on an all-star year, working mid-range, sometimes even using his own feet, go inside. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe this open up the playbook for them.
I don't know. I just don't see, even with Kevin Love and Cody Zeller, the Heat going that far if they were to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like they have an offense that is not as potent as the top three guys, the top three teams. So, I mean, yes, it's a good move, and technically it is a good move. But as for like the season and to win the title, which is what you should be going for every season, I mean, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's gonna work out. But maybe for next season, we start off with Kevin Love, and then we add a couple people in the off season. Okay, then maybe we got something.
Exactly.
But as of right now, you have to. He's coming in. You got to test him out. You got to see what works for him because he is on the aging side. So and then plus you don't want to overexert him, and then he gets injured, and then you're back to square one again, where you got no production on offense, and you lose a defensive player also. So it's like, so I gotta see how Spoelstra uses him, but I haven't watched any Heat basketballs. Right, I've committed to it, but I will say with Kevin Love coming in, I want to see how they use it, so I'll probably watch a game when I think he's supposed to start on Friday, right? Is this
yeah, when the NBA comes back.
I will decide to watch Friday. I'll see how he comes in. Maybe if he doesn't play enough Friday, I'll watch the next game, see how it goes. But as of right now, I'll say that.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, the Heat will call you back by at least by May. They will call you back at least by May.
All right. They got 2 months.
All right. Here's my opinion. When I saw the news, now mind you, I was sitting in the middle of a church service when I looked at my phone and I saw that the Heat finally acquired Kevin Love. I don't think the Heat are too small. They needed some size to help Bam Adebayo. Cody Zeller helps with that. And then you also add something in Kevin Love who can rebound. He can shoot. I think it's a great move. And again, we talk about this roster. The Heat were 1 game away from the NBA Finals. The only problem here is that I think everyone in the East got so much better.
Way better.
But here's also what I've been seeing. They did get off to a really terrible start, but they have picked it up. And they were 12th and 11th in the Eastern Conference. They have picked it up, and they've moved it all the way to 6.
Yeah.
So they've really put their foot on the gas. And looking at the starting lineup, or a projected starting lineup, It looks nice. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, and Victor Oladipo. Which, let me tell you, Victor Oladipo is back to being Victor Oladipo. He's been playing real nice.
He has.
That's
But we're talking about
the-
Orlando. No, because we're talking about Orlando Victor Oladipo. We're talking about we're seeing Game 3 in Eastern Conference Finals Victor Oladipo. You know what I mean? Like
I get you.
I'm just saying it's not 20 a game, it's 15 a game. You know what I mean?
My struggle is right now, I believe as of right now, if the playoffs were to start right now, I believe Miami would be facing Philadelphia in the first round.
The 2 plays the 7, right?
Yes.
They'll play Milwaukee.
Do you guys really
It got so silent. I'm sorry.
do you guys really see Miami taking out Milwaukee in the first round?
The only team I ever seen, because I also do want to say the 76ers are not last year's 76ers.
Yep.
They definitely have adapted more. There's more chemistry because they have that full season with Harden going on right now with Maxey doing phenomenal ball.
Fire, bro.
Absolutely, yeah, incredible stuff over there in Philadelphia. And I got to give credit when it's due. I'm one of the biggest haters of the city, so I'm not gonna lie to you. But for the Miami Heat themselves, they have to be in a position where they can't face the first 3 teams, being that, of course, of Boston, Philadelphia, Milwaukee. They got to figure out a way where they can push their way past, of course, right behind them is the New York Knicks, and then ahead of them. And this is the interesting thing about the Eastern Conference, especially now. Kyrie Irving shipping out to Dallas, Kevin Durant going away, the Brooklyn Nets, who are sitting, I believe, right now in 4th.
Yep.
That were actually on a hot streak with KD, and then for some reason
they're 5th.
5th, and then 4th, I think, is the Cavs.
Yep.
But either way you look at it, one of those teams are most likely going to drop out, and it's most likely going to be Brooklyn. So if the Miami Heat get on a hot start, because I mentioned before, the Knicks are right behind them. It's either of those teams get on their hot spot, making it their way to that 5th seed. The Cleveland Cavaliers, that's a team Miami could take on. Even without like the home advantage, they really could take on the Cavs. I do feel like, and again, Donovan Mitchell, phenomenal season, Mr. 71 points. But they could really take that to a 7-game series, I think.
And something you mentioned, Brandon, I really think with Kevin Love being in Miami, I think that the culture can really put Kevin Love into shape. We've seen that happen with many players. Coming to Miami, they're overweight, they're not the size there should be, and they get whipped into shape. And it may not happen this season, but I guarantee you in the offseason, Kevin Love is going to get into that Miami program and he's going to get into shape.
No, yeah, I still remember the pictures. I think it was this offseason of Kyle Lowry, like buff and everything.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened to that guy. Like after November, it's just like he went back to his old eating habits. No idea what happened to Kyle Lowry. No, not even a cheap shot. Not even a cheap shot. You know, summer work's different, but
I got questions.
yeah.
Would you supposedly there's rumors about John Wall, and they might buy him out. I forgot what it is. Would you get rid of what's it called, Kyle Lowry for John Wall?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think because right now, I think in John Wall's career, I think injuries are kind of the only issue that we have with him. And of course, his bad shot of recently is like he can barely take a shot behind the arc, let alone behind the free throw line. But John Wall, he brings you that speed. He obviously gives you that type of physicality that the Miami Heat do like. And a John Wall Jimmy Butler combination, that Wombo combo, that's really something I would love to see in South Beach, though. Because Kyle Lowry, he does move the ball well, but I think John Wall gives you more of that offensive presence, right? Where it's not as cocky as Westbrook, it's not as laid back as Kyle Lowry. I think John Wall, if he wanted to, can go full throttle. If he, again, as Danny mentioned before, it's the Miami Heat culture. So who knows exactly what's Pat Riley going to say in his ear when he gets to South Beach, land right there in Miami International, get picked up in that limousine, maybe even Diesel coming around to pick him up in the freight truck. But either way, though, I mean, if John Wall makes his way to Miami, I mean, that would be a huge move. And
That would make things interesting.
Yeah, it would make things interesting in the East. Definitely would make things interesting.
Because right now we heard from the All Star game. We're gonna get into it later, but Giannis with his finger, with his something with his finger or his
Yeah.
hand, and he'll be out for an undetermined amount of time. But now I guess is when the Heat should it was like, hey, Milwaukee, they're out with Giannis for a couple weeks. Let's see what happens.
Oh yeah, and plus in the calendar timeline, I mean Jimmy Butler's calendar is usually like this throughout the entire NBA seasons that he's played. What is this guy doing? Is he an all-star the first half of the season? Second half comes in. This guy's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, he's pretty good. Then the playoffs come in. It's like we're watching Michael Jordan reincarnated into like another person. You know what I mean? So Miami Heat basketball, most likely, I'm expecting them to heat up. I can't imagine the New York Knicks coming out of nowhere because again, I mean that's gonna be based on Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson if they push their way because I don't think RJ Barrett's like getting better. I think he's like regressing right now in his game this season. So
I think he was just stagnant. I think he was just like, eh.
he's just there. He's just there. You know what I mean? Not mid, not like the Hawks, but he's kind of just there.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is definitely a time that the Miami Heat got to take advantage with it.
Listen, my final conclusion with that is, yes, I like the moves. But as of right now, I don't see it as Jonka said, I don't see it as a move that's like pushes them to championship caliber team. I could be wrong because the Miami Heat are a team that has these players and they come out of nowhere. I will say the one thing that they do have on that roster right now is a lot of playoff and championship experience and veteran experience, which can go a long way. That's all I gotta say, about that. I like the move. Would love to buy a Kevin Love shirt, but I can't see it beating the top 3 teams in the East.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like Love in the 0, I'm guessing that's going to be his number when he hits Miami.
It's not. They already announced it. Number 42.
Oh, he's going back to the T-Wolves? Oh, no, he's going off. He's going back to Timberwolves, Kevin Love, like straight out UCLA, straight into rookie season, Kevin Love, he's going off in that 42. If I'm a Miami Heat fan, get that jersey before it gets hot. I'm telling you right now.
Number 42 will be Kevin Love's number in the Miami Heat. And we're talking about basketball, NBA trade deadline, which was crazy. Winners and losers. Let's start with losers. Who do you think was the biggest loser of the NBA trade deadline? Brandon, who do you think that was?
Yeah, I went into like a lot of detail about this on when I had like my episode on Courtside. But the biggest loser, in my honest opinion, I know a lot of people have their own thoughts, but I think it's got to be the Clippers, though, man. It's got to be the Clippers. I mean, we're talking about a team that has Paul George been playing out of his mind, an all-star, mind you. Kawhi Leonard, who's, again, still Kawhi Leonard, still two-time champion, two-time final MVP. The guy can still ball. This is a roster that had a lot of pieces that I thought to myself, like, they can really go deep in the West if they wanted to. Like the Sacramento Kings, phenomenal squad this year. Always fun to watch, too. See De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis go at it in that fast-paced offense. But I just can't imagine them going all the way to May playing this depth of basketball. The Golden State Warriors are regressing away due to injuries of Stephen Curry and just players they don't even look like the team that they were before, like 2 months ago before. So I'm not trying to sleep on them. I'm just saying they're looking like a play-in spot right now unless they really pick it up. But for the Los Angeles Clippers, though, they ended up moving from this trade deadline Reggie Jackson, John Wall as well. And I don't feel like any of the moves they did made them better. I mean, I know that they're going to get Russell Westbrook, at least expected. I don't know if it's official yet.
I believe it's official.
Yeah.
It's official? Yeah, so Russell Westbrook goes over to Los Angeles. But at the same time, Reggie Jackson leaves. John Wall leaves. And I remember seeing their first few games. John Wall looked to be really well, right? Besides, of course, that shot. Probably the most significant thing about his game now compared to what he was before. But Reggie Jackson, I mean, he was there when the Clippers went to that Western Conference Finals appearance in 2021 when they had to face against the Phoenix Suns. That was a guy that came with grit, grind, and a type of team that, again, did not go to the finals, but they were right there, and they know exactly what that's just that line, that fine line of, making that next round in the playoffs, in the postseason. You need a guy like Reggie Jackson because he's going to be able to push your team like that. I didn't like what the Clippers did at all. I got to double check in my notes exactly what they got back. I think it was a lot of second rounds. And actually, funny enough, when I did the math behind a lot of it, about 35 to 38 second round picks were swapped between the 2 days before the trade deadline, which is like, I mean, is second round picks really that much to put like a price tag on some players? It makes no sense to me, honestly. But going a little bit off track, but yes, the Clippers, definitely losers in this one, in my opinion.
Jaka, your biggest loser of the trade deadline.
I know we just talked about him, but hometown team. I think the Heat.
Yeah.
I think they could have done something, bro. Something. Even if it wasn't like gonna push us any further into contention for a title. But maybe like you could have had a chance for John Collins. He's been on the market. He's been like rumored to be wanting to leave Atlanta for a while now.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get him. You could have gotten rid of Duncan or maybe Strus and a pick for John Collins or something to help the offense a little bit more. Since what, like I just said, Duncan Robinson isn't producing anything, but he is a good 3-point shooter. But as of late, he hasn't been improving that. But I just think I feel like Pat Riley did not try this trade deadline. I think he just felt like, you know what, I'm not gonna waste any money. I'm just gonna try to just get anybody on a buyout and just see what happens. Because when Kyrie came out, so there was rumors that he were trying to get him, but no, it was basically the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm like, wow, 2 West teams, bro. Like, come on. Like, all right, no chance for that one. And then KD all randomly at 12 midnight.
Yeah, oh, 1:30 in the morning.
Bro, I'm like, what the fuck? Whatever. I was like, okay. Daniel calls me and like, bro, hey, did you hear what happened? And I'm like half asleep, like, no, what happened? And like, oh, KD to the Phoenix Suns, bro. And I'm like, oh my god, bro. Bro, if they can get KD to Phoenix, Arizona, how can we not get anybody to Miami, Florida? I call complete BS. Either no one is trying, or they just like give up on the season. I don't see the Heat winning the title this year. Do any of you?
Well, I mean, not really at all. But I do have to say, though, the Phoenix Suns, they had a lot of pieces. And I would have to say they had more chips than the Miami Heat did, though.
Yeah, they did.
So in the way that it looked like, I'm pretty sure we're going to go into this topic itself. But, I mean, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, alone those two and a bunch of draft picks following right behind it. I mean, how do you say no to that? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
So, I don't know. But the Miami Heat, they definitely did lose by doing nothing this trade deadline, because this was kind of the moment where you're talking to yourself, like, are they really going to push for a finals? Are they just going to kind of cruise through it? And again, as I mentioned before earlier, I think the Kevin Love, Cody Zeller stuff does help them out. But, I mean, they're not a contender, though. Definitely not a contender.
If they're not, this is what I was telling my brother and his friend. Like, we were talking. Like I don't see the Heat winning anything. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong, and they go far and they impress me. But I think it's like, hey, you know what? We know we're not gonna go that far this year. Just don't, obviously don't show it. But like, I would just tank and try to go for Victor Wembanyama.
Well, I mean, that's
and use that as
every game now.
Like something, I don't know. Maybe not Victor, but like some top pick that you can use as leverage to get something that can help put you over. Maybe not Victor, but maybe you can use that as you can try to bring LeBron out of the Lakers. Because I don't see LeBron staying in the Lakers for next year. I don't see it.
I don't know. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully not. Can't stand him in the Lakers uniform. Just can't.
My biggest loser of the trade deadline has to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. First of all, they already shocked everybody with how good they've been playing this year and where they're at in the Eastern Conference standings. I feel like if they wanted to elevate that, they needed to make another move, to add another piece to what they got going on over there to kind of break into that top 3 of the East. They didn't make any moves or changes. They kept everything the same. A little disappointed in that. Would have liked to see them at least. I mean, they lost Kevin Love. That's what happens. That's what they lost. I would have liked to see another piece go to Cleveland and try to elevate themselves. And for me, that's why they're the biggest losers of this trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, not even that. I mean, they still got Karis LeVert on that team. Phenomenal guard, but, I mean, he's always 50-50, and the way that they have Donovan Mitchell and Garland kind of working together, I mean, they definitely could have moved into a better situation, though.
For sure.
Absolutely. I mean, they had the pieces, though, and they still could contend in the East, but they're not a top 3 team, in my opinion, though.
I just think for the 16 Cavaliers, I don't think because they gave up so much to get Donovan,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they had anybody else left to give.
That's true. That's true. They don't have a lot of depth on their bench, so it's not too deep over there.
So winners. Brandon, biggest winner of the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I think we all know where this is probably going.
It might not be. It might not be. I got 2 winners, though, that I personally think.
Okay.
First one, I think I'm going to go with the obvious one. I think it's got to be basically going to be the Nets. I think that the Nets, they're able to, again, they lose Kevin Durant, but now they get rid of the PR situation with Kyrie Irving, and they can kind of push themselves to this new future of Brooklyn basketball. I think that it was kind of just like a toxic waste that was like just reaping around for the past few years in Brooklyn with the whole Kyrie thing getting worse and worse. Then Kevin Durant not able to get a lot of minutes on the court due to injuries and all that. James Harden requesting for a trade. Now you have Ben Simmons, which is like, I mean, Ben Simmons, I went to Brooklyn to see at least a game. I want to leave that game after the first quarter seeing Ben Simmons drill down the ball. This guy's terrible. Absolutely terrible. At 200-something pounds, 6'10", and you're moving the ball like that, barely can shoot it anywhere, let alone fear of shooting it anywhere. I don't really understand it. But after this trade deadline, they're able to get past that situation now. Multiple picks for their future. And now they look at it from the Brooklyn Nets KD side of things. They do get rid of Kevin Durant as well as TJ Warren. But now they give Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson a home to possibly be, third team in Brooklyn. Who knows? With Cam Thomas, who would, for I think it was 3 games, went 40 pieces back to back to back.
Yeah.
I think ever since KD and Kyrie left, he's kind of like the new piece of the Nets that, were they kind of shutting him down? So I really do like the Brooklyn Nets right now with those 4 first-round picks, 1 next year as well that it belongs to the Suns, 2025, 2027, as well as 2029, and a pick swap. And they also got some cash. They saved $8 million with a trade with the Kings. And probably the coolest move, which I mentioned before with Kyrie Irving, Dorian Finney-Smith, former Gator, Finney-Smith, as well as Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie coming back to Brooklyn. So we might see a little 2016 rejuvenized Brooklyn Nets team. So I think Brooklyn, despite losing out 2 All-Stars, 2 of the best players that really have played basketball on earth, they ended up getting themselves a future and still enough to really say that they're not like a team that's going to be a postseason miss. You know what I mean? They're going to at least fight for a top 6, if not a play-in kind of tournament kind of situation. So the Brooklyn Nets, despite losing all that, they're still alive. And then the second winner I have, kind of a dark horse, I would have to say to myself, it's got to be the Knicks. I'm not going to lie to you. If anybody watches New York basketball or just the situation around Tom Thibodeau's team, Cam Reddish, there's so much potential behind him. A lot of people say that he sucks. But I think it would just seem on that far left bench. They haven't used him a single time this season, I don't think. It's like, and what is he there for? He's just wasting space. So they're able to get rid of Cam Ridge to Portland, and as well as and this is kind of, 50-50, protected lottery 2023, first round pick, which it could turn to a future second round pick if not conveyed this year. And they got two kind of bench pieces, guys I can't really pronounce the name, but they also got Josh Hart, a Villanova alum that played ball with Jalen Brunson when they won that championship back in March Madness when they played. I forgot what year. I do apologize on that. But now Jalen Brunson, who's been on fire this entire season, is now matched up with Josh Hart, and that kind of helps out a situation where you don't have to, quickly he's been doing pretty well, but he's coming back and forth off the bench. McBride, who's kind of like boosted his minutes recently due to some injury problems over there in New York with their guards. But now you have Josh Hart, and that's like a consistent guy. I remember seeing the first game they played in New York, and they obliterated the Brooklyn Nets with Josh Hart doing the majority of the work with Jalen Brunson. So I think that's kind of like a low-key winner right now. I think the state of New York, they're actually in a good spot despite having two All-Stars leave the state.
Okay, valid. That's valid. Jonka, biggest winner of the trade deadline.
It's going to have to be a team that I really don't like. And one of the players, it's going to have to be the Lakers. I know. I feel you, bro.
Unbelievable.
But the Lakers were dealing with so much drama with Westbrook and Patrick Beverly, and then so many different players that just didn't add up with the team. Like, it didn't make sense why they were there. And so they added players that can that can defend, they can create their own shot, they can get a bucket, and they know what they're doing. In D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, which is a good pickup, Jared Vanderbilt, Hachimura, David Reed, and Mo Bamba. So they got inside, they got outside defense and shooting, and they don't got troublemakers that will cause them fouls and mishaps and all this. These turnovers.
Here's my question, and this goes to the both of you. Do you think the Lakers make the playoffs?
No, absolutely not. Unless Anthony Davis is like healthy the entire way, I mean, that Laker team still needs a lot of help. And again, I mean, as Jonka said, they made some phenomenal moves for their roster. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, get him on that, boost the offense. Vanderbilt, Beasley. Now, for people that don't watch a lot of Minnesota games, which is, a majority of America, I mean, that's actually two good players that have been going off on the bench over there in Minnesota during their time. So great role players that'll be playing now on national television on ESPN and TNT for Laker games. The weird thing, though, they got rid of Thomas Bryant. I mean, that's the thing I still don't scratch my head about. Because when AD was injured, there was like a time where like he was getting himself 20 points. I think it was even one time he got like 31 high this season. And literally right after LeBron broke the record of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I mean, he ended up getting traded, which is like, I think that, and also I did go into this, that game itself, I think that was like a reason why Westbrook was moved and Thomas Bryant was moved. Because Westbrook, they said that he was in an altercation with Coach Ham, the head coach for the Lakers, during a halftime break. And also Thomas Bryant, I don't know if you like, the picture, because I know the famous picture of LeBron doing that fadeaway to break the record.
He was asking for the ball?
Yeah, he was asking for the ball. He was asking for the ball. So I don't know, maybe that mindset got him traded to Denver. Better situation, though. Now he's with a two-time MVP in Jokic and a number one in the West. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Russell Westbrook, Thomas Bryant, their destiny was all defined in one game. Who knows?
For the Lakers to make the playoffs, I mean, the difference between the Lakers, which are in 13th, and Minnesota, that's in 8th, is only 3 games. So, can the Lakers, LeBron, AD, and all these new pieces, which I saw them play, I think before the All-Star break, I think it was Portland. They played pretty well.
Yeah, they did.
I'm like, now with these new guys, and without the Westbrook Patrick Beverly drama they had over there, they could sneak in. But like I was saying a couple weeks ago, when LeBron got the record, that I feel like I was I was sympathizing with AD when he was said in the press conference, like, it's like, you, bro, we're like, yes, good for you. You got the scoring record, but like, we lost the game. We
Yeah,
can't be losing these games.
yeah,
Because like, you're playing a Western Conference team, and they're ahead of you in OKC. I think it was OKC that they
Yep.
played, and it's like, bro, you're losing to OKC. They're the place above you, and you need these games to win to make the playoffs. Every game is crucial from now on, and it's like everybody only cares about LeBron getting the scoring title. Bro, he could have gotten the scoring title 20 games from then, and it would have been the same exact damn thing. But they
yeah.
just, like, if you prioritize the wins, and forget about the scoring title for a second, maybe LeBron can go somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean also the scoring title situation though. The fact they stopped, and again, I understand, been hold for 40 whatever years, but the fact they stopped the game for a mid-game ceremony though.
Seriously, I'm like,
It
Yeah, I was like, what is going on?
was just insane. I mean, again, understanding the moment. I mean, this is a huge record in NBA history.
no, I
You
agree.
know, but like in my honest opinion, what they should have done, do the little claps and all that for the fans. Take away the jersey, replace the jersey, put it over there for the Hall of Fame. Get the ball, put it in the Hall of Fame. Get the shoes, put on the Hall of Fame. Get LeBron in a whole new pair of clothes and continue the game. Easy 5-minute change. You go back on the court. They had to do a whole speech and everything too, which was weird. I mean, getting a little off topic, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Listen, for me, I got two teams that were my winners at the trade deadline. And I think they're pretty obvious. I got to go with Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. I think both of those moves honestly just makes them so much more dangerous in the West. Honestly, I like the pairing. I like Luka Doncic, and I think the pairing with Kyrie. I just think both of those teams are going to be extremely dangerous now, and both those teams sitting fourth and fifth in the West. And you got to think to yourself, man, they're fourth and fifth, but now with those moves, they've elevated themselves to favorites to coming out of the West. And a healthy KD with Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul, I think that's the best shot that Chris Paul is going to have to winning a ring. I think Phoenix looked at it and said, we were so close against Milwaukee. We got to go. We're swinging for the fences. We got to get back to the finals, and we're in a win now mode. We want our ring. We're going to do it. And they did it. And listen, some people think that Phoenix is not going to do jack with Kevin Durant on the team. If he's healthy, I'm telling you, it's going to be scary.
No, yeah. I mean, and not even that. I'm looking at the standings right now. The only teams that are ahead of them being that of Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, as well as the Los Angeles Clippers. Right now, Dallas and Phoenix, funny enough, only a game behind one another.
Mhm.
The West is very tight. However, from what we're seeing from the Memphis Grizzlies, I'm telling you right now, they're number 2 right now in the West, but that can easily change in about like a month.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting Memphis to do that well late in the year. I'm not expecting Sacramento, as I said before, to keep it up going all the way through May, maybe even the postseason play. I think they're just about a playoff team. I think that should be a guarantee at this point. They can boost themselves. The real question is, will they be able to catch Denver in the standings? Because if one of them are able to catch Denver in that first seed, that's all the difference.
I don't think they can catch Denver. No way.
Yeah, because Denver right now, I think they have the second best conference round, if not the third best or top 3 best record right now in the NBA. Yeah. But either way, though, like the Phoenix Suns themselves, I mean, Daniel, you're right, man. This is Chris Paul now or never right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people thought that was going to be the last time we see Chris Paul ever close to a championship in 2021. But they lose 4 straight against Milwaukee. Now, this is perfect timing. Everyone's regressing. The Phoenix Suns just reloaded. And the Dallas Mavericks, though, Kyrie Irving's first game, man. It looked like he had played like 20 practices prior with the team. I mean, he looked phenomenal with 20 points in that one. I think it was against the Clippers. Still lost. But, you got some good stuff out there for the future. So the question is, I don't know
if Phoenix doesn't win this year with these the big 4 right now, And those players, KD, CP3, Booker, Aiden, whatever. If would you say if they don't win it this year, sell the team
Well, they already sold.
again? Get rid of it. Just
They
like
already sold the team. But
yeah.
but the funniest thing though, because I forgot the owner's name. I do apologize. But the new owner, did this trade on his first day. That's some balls, man. That is insane. And
Hey,
again,
man, I gotta give it to him. That's some balls right there.
it is insane. But like, would I, in a sense, scrap the team if they don't win a championship this year? Probably not. I
No.
think that when you look at this team, they still got Devin Booker for the next following season. Kevin Durant will most likely stick around. And who knows? In the offseason, they got a real argument to bring in players, all-star caliber players.
Yep, they do.
So the Phoenix Suns have more of an argument than Dallas right now, who barely even have a bench, let alone, they got rid of, as I mentioned, Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, two guys that were huge pieces for them coming off in role reserve areas. So, that's a team that's missing pieces right now midway through the season. And a lot of it's been Luka Magic. Maybe Kyrie does boost that up. I think he will, of course, make this team better. But, it doesn't make Dallas a contender. I just don't see Dallas on that same level that Phoenix is right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Western Conference, it's just 3 teams.
I agree with that. Sticking on NBA, let's talk about the All-Star game yesterday. Listen, I'll give my opinion first.
Mhm.
I think this is one of the most – I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I think this was one of the most boring All-Star games that I have seen in a while. I just felt like it was dragged out for 10 hours.
It was.
Dragged out for 10 – listen, I get what they tried to do with the whole let's pick our players the day of, but that took way too long.
Way too long.
I think that should be done like it did before. Our own segment on TNT before some random Tuesday or Thursday night game. That took way too long.
Yeah, it was unbearable. And I think because also they try to avoid the awkwardness of that last pick.
Yeah.
It was more awkward this time. Jokic choosing himself for Team LeBron. Nah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. There's no way.
And then I didn't even know that there was going to be a full-on like Super Bowl halftime performance happening. I liked it. It was good, but it took a while.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, again, this is in Utah, but this game definitely could have started earlier. I feel like for the people, because of the time zones, I can only imagine the people in Salt Lake, they probably entered the arena like at 2:00 and had to leave around like midnight for this game. Like, that's how long it felt. From introductions, the TNT show with Chuck and Shaq, always hilarious. Love the TNT.
Okay, but I will say there were some things that both of them said that made me feel a little cringe, man.
It was a little outlandish.
Like the part where Shaq started like looking at him and like, "Hey, are you drunk right now?" Like, dude, like I started thinking in my head because Brandon, you and I know, like as broadcasters, like
yeah.
I started thinking in my head, what if he actually is?
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem. That's a problem.
He probably would have been taken away that next set. But yeah, man, I think the broadcasting was pretty incredible for this one. I know a lot of players said that it didn't feel like probably the worst basketball game ever put together. But that's just because there's no chemistry, though. They talk about pickup ball, but is pickup ball really like NBA basketball, though?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at street ball, professional basketball, these guys are professional players who've been on a team, talk about deals, talk about roads, plays, all that. Pickup basketball, beautiful art to it. But it's not the best brand of basketball when you look at, the style of the NBA. A lot of cool stuff, especially one of them being that these players ended up going off. Like Donovan Mitchell had like 40 points, a double-double.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard half-court shots. So you get those little moments, but this was like – it was a game with no defense. I was just watching guys doing a layup turn, It just made no sense.
You know which one was really bad? There was a comment where Chuck said, man, Salt Lake City's super boring as hell. And I'm like, oh my God, man. And I don't know if you caught the part where Shaq was like, "Oh, the All-Star game sponsored by Patron," and Kenny low-key whispered into the mic, and he was like, "Shaq, this is a dry state." Like he was trying to tell him, like, "Hey, like this is a dry state. Don't talk about." And I'm like, dude, like somewhere a producer is having legit nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say that's probably one of the reasons why they haven't done it in like 30-something years over there.
Yeah.
Next time, go to Miami, man.
Yeah.
Just go to South Beach. We haven't had one since like 1990, man. And that was a good All-Star game. It had Larry Bird, John Stockton, MJ was part of it. Like, you have it there in South Beach. You got the people for it.
It's been a while. Yeah, it was a little cringe at moments, stuff like that. It was just way too long for me. I kind of checked out at the third quarter. I had it on the background, but I was mostly on my phone. I was like, I'm kind of over it. Jonka?
Listen, I was utterly disappointed in this All-Star game. Not because it was my birthday weekend, but it was because I always look forward to the All-Star game because I like to see the star players play, but it's like I feel like they've just given up. I honestly think they've given up trying. Like Stephen A always brings up whenever on First Take is like, bro, these guys play harder basketball in the summer against nobodies than they do in the All-Star game when people come and pay thousands of dollars for a ticket to watch you play.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I'm so dumbfounded on what they're gonna do. They need to find some way to incentivize these players to actually play a basketball game, like seriously, or else don't have it or do some. I don't know what it is they're gonna do because the dunk contest was, I saw the highlights, looked terrible.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. Matt McClung was. I'm not gonna lie. The guy had some dunks.
Look, like for a guy that's only been in the NBA for like a few days, he's been balling out, man.
Yeah.
He's been going crazy.
It's like, why can't we just go back to the way it was before, where the players that are playing in the All-Star game represent the players that will be in the skills challenge, dunk contest, 3-point contest. Like, why do we have to bring in all these random people?
Yeah, I will say skills challenge this year was pretty lame.
Yeah, it was. I never what was like the setup for that though? The rookies, the Antetokounmpo brothers.
Yeah, because I liked the format they had before with one player dribbling the course and stuff like that.
Seriously.
Literally, this one was like everyone like all over the place doing different things, and I'm like, what is going on?
I know. The only entertaining part about that entire skills challenge, Jordan Clarkson just smoothly going around, untucked shirt, chain out, everything.
Yeah.
And somehow and funny enough, the Jazz team. But the Jazz team won that one. What they need to go back to the individuals and do that tournament stuff they did before. I mean, that's probably the best thing they have to do.
I agree. Getting to our final topic of the night, MLS jerseys. They have released full kits for each team as the MLS season, their 28th MLS season, begins this upcoming weekend. Man, I have to give it to them. First of all, their social media down to jerseys, and Jonka knows what I'm going to say. Social media down to jerseys, always on point. I can't complain. I have to go Philadelphia Union. I think that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite jersey, man. I think it's super nice. They replaced the crest with the snake, the Philadelphia Union snake. It's nice, man. I can't complain about that one. I think that's one's my favorite. Jonka, your favorite?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. It's good. I'm gonna have to agree with the camo and the snake for Philadelphia Union, but I would have to say my second choice. It would have to be the Seattle Sounders.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, the with the dragon.
Yeah, bro,
That
that was
was pretty
nice.
cool.
That was nice. But you know what? For me, close second, I really enjoyed it. The Johnny Cash Nashville SC all black.
Yeah.
Man, that went hard. And the video they did on social media for it, that went hard. I got to give it to Nashville on that one. So those two are my favorites. Brandon, what about you?
Well, I mean, I gotta again South Florida podcast. I gotta give Inter Miami their credit. It's not again. I mean, they didn't go like crazy different design.
Yeah.
But compared from going to what the heartbeat was to now La Noche, the night, it makes sense, man. Their top games are nighttime, prime time, and plus the way that they play, 7 o'clock. Sun's about to go down during the summer. Midway through the MLS season, and then you have the planes going up. The jersey itself reminds me a lot of Kickoff. I think it's actually a really nice jersey they have for Inter Miami. The back is it's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. They got some weird stripes going down the side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think MLS, every single team besides the Revolution, New England, I did not like their jersey at all.
I was about to say that. We're moving on to like the worst ones. New
Yeah.
England Revolution does not do it for me, man.
Horrible.
Does not do it for me.
Yeah, it had them weird stripes going on, and then of course, you're gonna have to need the sponsor in the middle. The sponsor is just like a block. Like when you're doing like Photoshop and you have like a big design, and you have to place some sort of like text box, and that text box just makes a white big old rectangle.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the New England did. Exactly what New England did.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that one.
Yeah,
I guess
Revolution.
they did it because the red will kind of like get in between the background of like the United Healthcare, so it would kind of be hard to see.
I wasn't really a fan of Charlotte's either. I know Jonko was a fan of Charlotte's, but I was really not a fan of Charlotte FC's jerseys. New York City FC, actually both New York teams, NYCFC and Red Bulls. I'm not a fan of their jerseys.
With the clouds and the sun.
Was not a fan. I was not a fan of those either. And then, of course, you have
Montreal's. Montreal's is nice with the blue marble.
Yeah. You have the classic Columbus Crew that didn't really change anything. Same with Portland Timbers, didn't really change anything.
Yeah.
I would say those. And look, this has people won't really know this, but I have an admiration. I think it's grown on me to be a favorite team of mine in the MLS. But Austin FC, their jersey was a little weird with the different sorts of stripes. I'm not hating it on it. I still think New England is worse. But it could have been. I mean, there's only so much you can do with green and black.
Yeah. I mean, and also because Austin is already a weird city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just fitting enough that them to have these jerseys. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Out of all these jerseys, though, I mean, there was a lot of originality. I mean, doesn't beat the NHL jerseys when they kind of had the new retros going on.
Yeah.
But the MLS, I'm liking this yearly different jersey thing, though. I'm really liking it right now.
I'm liking it, too.
Yeah, as a fan, not good for the bank account, but the closet looks phenomenal right now in pink and black right now. So,
yeah, I'm really enjoying it, too. And you guys, obviously, you guys know Apple has bought the rights to Major League Soccer. So in order to watch Major League Soccer this upcoming season and for future seasons, you have to have a subscription to Apple TV. Again, the MLS season, their 28th season, kicks off this weekend, and Inter Miami, the home team, will kick off at Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale against CF Montreal. And that's all we have for you guys tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This was episode 82 for myself, Danny Torres, for Jonka Don't Stop, and Brandon Hernandez. We're signing off, and we'll see you guys next week for a brand new episode 83. Good night. Have a great rest of your week.